to Success Talk, Smart Talk, which is always such a mouthful to say. We are so excited to be with you all here today because Melissa, Mark, and I are going to be talking about the very important topic of what careers and jobs are surviving 2020 and which ones, God bless them, are resting in peace and should no longer be part of what we tell our college students to go out and get a job in that industry because they just might not be that viable anymore after our wonderful 2020 experience. But without further ado, before we get into that, let me introduce our wonderful host today. As always, we've got the beautiful and lovely Melissa Carter, radio show host, personality extraordinaire, and the host of her own podcast called She Persisted. Got to check out that podcast. And former Fox 5 news anchor, two-time Emmy Award nominee, Mark Hayes, absolutely wonderful, handsome TV news anchor. Welcome to the show. Love you all, my dear friend.
Oh, how do I do the clap? I was shooting about Mark and clap. And of course, we can't forget the Emmy Award-winning Aurea McGarry. Who is, I mean, a great TV host, a great host for this show, and also one of the greatest philanthropists in Atlanta. So yes, we love Aurea.
I love you all so much, so much. All right, well, let's get to our topics today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go over real quick some of the hardest hit careers. And viewers, let us know if maybe that was your career. And I say was endearingly because you can restart, you can recreate, you can pivot, and we want to help you do that. So we want to give you resources in our Success Talk, Smart Talk to help you if you need to pivot or recreate, or if you're doing wonderful and want to help others. That's fantastic. And at the end of the show, don't forget, along with Smart Talk, is our not so smart pick of the days. You're not going to want to miss those. Don't go away. All right,
that.
Some of our hardest hit, and y'all tell me what you think about these if you've known anybody. Hotels, sports and performing arts. Of course, we know Broadway shut down. Furniture and home furnishings, restaurants and bars, we all know well. Motion pictures and sound recordings. It's too close to home. Dentists, laundry cleaners and other personal services. Clothing stores, brick and mortars, obviously. Amusement parks, casinos. Disney's probably in that category. And the other one is travel and scenic transportation. Think of the cruise lines like around the Manhattan and around Chicago where everybody gets on the scenic boat. Not happening.
Or taking the ferry. The ferries.
Taking the ferries.
Yeah.
You know?
So let's talk about that for a second. Who's been hardest hit before we go into what is the ones you should now really think about pursuing and what's doing fantastic and what's making millions online, even during 2020.
Well, you know, can I just say that when you think about those items that are heavily impacted, the collective impact on the rest of us is enormous. You know, we don't have sports to take us away. I've been watching games on YouTube, right, to get my sports fix until we just got basketball back at the end of July and hockey, and now football is back playing. But, you know, there's no crowds, you know, in a lot of places, and some places where the crowds are very small, and it's not the same. You know, Broadway, we forget about how much we love a good show or play.
I don't forget.
We can't go. Oh, I know. Well, yeah. And, you know, because my mom had tickets to Hamilton before the COVID thing, before the shutdown. Now, you know, she's scrambling, trying to figure out when she's going to be able to see.
Did they give you a refund? I'm just curious. All those people that had tickets, did they get refunds?
You know, I didn't ask her if she got a refund. She was trying to figure out how she was going to see it.
Well, I know with concerts, they didn't, like, for instance, I had Alanis Morissette was coming to Atlanta, and I had her ticket. And all she did is she just credited you. Like, she didn't give you a refund, but the ticket is good for when it's rescheduled.
And what if you can't make that?
Well, then you probably get a refund at that point. Okay. But I wonder now with the Broadway shows, which are like so many more shows than a music concert, if they have the ability to do that, or they just have to reissue those refunds. But I do want to make a quick note about Hamilton. I think that's the reason. I mean, we make a big deal. It was great to watch Hamilton on Disney Plus.
Right,
but part of me also thinks that he did that so that the show and the people got paid. You know, he was trying to give a revenue stream, because he released it obviously on Disney Plus instead of in theaters, but he was doing that not only for his own profit, but also to help those on the screen and behind the scenes at least get some kind of income during this time.
Right.
Really important. Like you were saying, Mark, there's so many people affected when something's shut down. Like when you were saying about sports, you forget about the vendors, the food, the people that work there, people that park the cars, and it just, there's just, and Disney and all these places, you think, oh, we can't go, poor us. But you think about all the jobs that are affected, all the suppliers, all the truck drivers. We're talking about truck driving is actually a good industry, but then they have to have a place to truck their stuff too. And if those aren't in business, that's not good.
But see, but here's the thing with truck drivers, no matter how it gets to our shores, a truck driver has to go get it. So if a truck driver has to go get it and bring it to Amazon because you and I are ordering like crazy, you know, they're still working. You know, now they may not be going to the Walmarts and some of the other brick and mortar stores as often, but they're still moving. I have my college roommate is driving trucks now, and he like struggles to remember the last time he was home.
Right. Well, I keep Amazon busy, so we got plenty of truck drivers coming to my house every day.
Yeah. But you know what he's doing is, you know, since he's never home, you know, he's saving his money to start his own trucking company, because he said one of the first things the instructors told him was that there will always be a need for truckers and those with their CDLs. So, you know, you're always going to be able to find work. And so he's like, why not go work for myself?
Well,
why
and
am
also,
I letting somebody else make all the
absolutely.
profit?
You know me, I'm always for being your own boss.
Well, and to that point, I have an uncle who owns his own pallet business. So when you talk about shipping, you think about the other things that you need in order to ship. And so, and he owns his own business, just doing pallets. That's all he does.
You know, like the wooden pallets?
Yeah.
You would never think.
Exactly, right? So it's like you said, the ripple effect of one job that leads to others, where in these industries, there's a lot of people, like you said, around concerts and Broadway and things that are not getting paid, and movie sets. But then when you think about the good news, there's a ripple effect to the good as well.
Speaking of, I'm sorry, Ray. Speaking of ripple effects, though, I saw an interview with the Airbnb CEO who is from Atlanta, the founder and creator, and he was talking about the decision they made when all these reservations started getting canceled to refund people their money and to take money out of their own pocket to refund the property owners. Right? Because so many property owners are using Airbnb to help pay their mortgages or rents.
Oh, yeah.
And so, you know, the ripple, he knew it was going to be disastrous. So he said, look, you know, we had to make a conscious decision to do the right thing by both our customers and, you know, our product providers. And I thought it was an amazing interview.
That's a real leader to me. That's a real leader who thinks big picture, and all those properties are going to be loyal to Airbnb from now on, because there will be a long time after this pandemic is over, in which we have lessons that we've learned, and the people that did the right thing when the chips were down are the ones that are going to be profitable more by far twice as much as those who tried to rip people off.
Absolutely. My daughter we were just saying this the other day, how people are treating us now during this time, and some are not doing well. Some are really not going by protocol. We were just in, I'm not going to say the name, but some grocery stores. We saw the manager and several people, the guy cutting the meat, not even wearing a mask, not even attempting to have a mask on. And I know, like, Melissa and I are so...
At the deli counter?
At the deli counter. I took, okay, my little stealthness, my daughter was with me. I'm going behind the peanut butter and I'm taking a picture, because I know I'm not trying to get anybody fired, but I hate being that person. But when you see people not doing the right thing...
You're so sweet. That's I'm all up in his face and taking the picture in his face.
The manager didn't have one on, so he went over to look for the manager. She didn't have even one on. His was under his chin. Hers wasn't even on. So I care for other people, and I care about what's happening. I want this to be over. So that's why it matters to me. I'm not a tattletale and, oh, you're not doing your job. But when it comes to this is serious. So I just...
this is different. This is different. Look, it is wrong to not wear a mask. I'll say it. It is wrong not to wear a mask. I don't care if you're working, if you're not working, if you're around other people, 6 feet, wear a mask. I mean,
everybody's doing it.
That's what we have to do.
And what it shows me, so I'm not going to that grocery store anymore. We're going to another one that's even better, because during this time, if you're not going to be clean and courteous and conscious of our lives, then you're not going to get my business after this. And there's too many
Right.
choices in America. That's not the only corner store on Main Street that we have to go get our bread and butter.
It is plain
Sorry.
and simple. It is plain and simple. We have learned this our whole lives. Our parents taught us, the grandparents taught them, that character really comes through when things aren't going well.
Toughest.
You learn
Yep.
your own character and you're learning the character of others. So here is it flat out. You are learning the character of everybody, and it's up to you whether you want to continue to do business with them or not.
And you want to know,
Absolutely.
my daughter, we both got in our car. We had separate cars. So I called the other grocery store of the same brand that's down the street. I didn't call that grocery store because I saw the manager didn't have on a mask. So why am I going to call and get her on the phone? My daughter, though, she picked up the phone because we're both like furious. And she calls that actual grocery store, and we both got different answers. So I told the other one, do you know what's happening there? I don't know if you want to know, but just in case. She goes, oh my gosh, they're supposed to wear it. And she goes, we can't control customers because they'll end up on CNN. I'm like, well, I'm not saying, jump on the customers. Probably about 10 customers didn't have it on. I'm not saying bag them, jump them, and, but I said, there's other places I go to when I go to the pet store and to the cosmetic store. They have the free boxes of masks, and they politely hand it to people that don't have one. And it's very courteous, very nice, because the sign says must wear mask to go in. Well, don't put the sign up if it's not must wear mask to go in. But I realized that can be more difficult, but your employees, you absolutely can. So when my daughter Angel called that particular one that did the offense, I said, I bet you had that manager on the phone, because she says, oh, well, it's not the law from Georgia for us to have to do anything. And my daughter said, then why do you have the sign on your front door that you can't come in without a mask? And then you all aren't wearing one. I said, we don't care if it's the rule of the state. If it's your rule, shouldn't you abide by your own rule? It was just excuses.
Well, and shouldn't you be not trying to kill your customers? I mean, if you ever go to Subway.
I can't go there anymore.
Right. If you ever go to Subway and they just lost a loyal customer, and because you're going to go out of your way not to go there.
20 years.
So just think about it. You ever go to Subway, get a sandwich? If there's a solo person working, right, just the one person behind the counter, and there's a person in front of you, they go make the sandwich, they dress it, they ring up the person, right? And what do? They go right to wash their hands and put on their gloves before they come back to service you.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you put a mask on when the alternative is spreading a deadly disease? We all have our condition. I'm an asthmatic. So
I didn't know that.
So to get COVID for me, from everything that I've read, would be a nightmare at best. At best.
Right.
So, for people to have the respect of their neighbor, and it doesn't even.
This is not a political issue.
No.
It's not
Courtesy, common sense, cleanliness.
This is humankind. We're talking about humankind, and no offense. I will just say this: no offense to those who the sensitivity of others. But we just celebrated, honored 9/11. Celebrated is not the right word.
Right.
And it was 2,000 and something people that lost their lives in a tragic way.
3,000, yeah.
And we're talking about hundreds of thousands of people that are dying of COVID. So just keeping it in perspective, I think that if you honor one group of human beings, you have to honor the other group of human beings. And I just think, again, not comparing, it's just you be consistent in your caring of other people. And I think that when you have an active role in the health of other people, then you should take that responsibility very seriously. It's not a political issue. It has nothing to do with whether you're a D, an R, or an I. Has nothing to do with that. What it has to do with is we're in the middle of a pandemic, and you're a human being, and you want to stay alive and keep the people in your life alive. It's that simple.
Since you mentioned that, Melissa, it's like if we could have prevented 9/11 and we had an insight, we could have warned our friends not to go there that day. Wouldn't we have?
Yes.
Wouldn't we have done that? Right. So it's the same thing. If we can prevent us three even getting it because we're all compromised and not having to go through that, whether we live or die, we don't know. That's the Russian roulette of this. Why make us go through that if we don't have to?
And we'll get back to the list.
Yeah, but this show will always take a turn. You never know.
Yes, I know. But one thought too is that we don't see the suffering of the people that get this. So I think the difference is that if as a member of the media, it's like all you got to do is chronicle someone going through this. And then I guarantee you'd put your mask on. Exactly. Because it's not an easy road.
I don't want this, but I'll tell you what, if I get it, you will see every minute of it. I will chronicle the whole thing. I pray I don't ever get it because I only have
Rhea,
one lung. So let's pray I don't get it. But I would
I tell you
chronicle
what,
it. I would.
we lost a fraternity brother back right around the first of the year. No, well, it must have been January, February. And I went to the memorial service. It was out in the parking lot at the church down in Atlanta. And his brother told me he's never been as frightened as he was when he left that hospital ward. He said, you could just feel, you know, how nightmarish this scenario was. He said he'd never been so scared in his life. Wow. They let the family up to say their goodbyes. And when they left, I mean, he said, this thing scared me like nothing else I've ever seen. Wow. That many people suffering in sickness. And remember, you know, a lot of those people are suffering and they can't even see the people who are treating them. Because everybody's masked up and everybody's covered up.
Right.
And your loved ones are not there. Yes.
Loved ones aren't there.
Right.
People dying and they weren't able to say goodbye. But I think one of the worst parts is being in a hospital alone and no family member with you. And with these people look like with hazmat suits, God bless them, you know, it would be so scary being sick, and that's what you're surrounded by. So
and all you have to do
and stop this.
All you have to do is wear a mask. That's all you got to do is wear a mask.
So there's our moral of this story.
I mean, to me,
mask up.
To me, it's like I don't get it. I mean, everything we just said, all you got to do is put a mask on. So quit your whining.
Really. And let me ask your opinion on this, since we're on this, and we probably will hop off of this in a second. But I think going forward from now on, tell me what you think. Because of this, and this could just easily be the flu, or because we've had sickness and illnesses forever. This is usually going to be flu season. So to prevent that, even, which is bad, who wants the flu? Who wants to get sick? If you're a meat cutter, do you think, and don't you think that going forward from now on, they've always worn the hair nets to keep hair out of it. Don't you think from now on, even when COVID has a cure, that they should always wear a mask when working over food? Don't you think that might be a good idea? Do you think we will, or do you think they'll rip it off and never wear it again?
We're Americans. We're lazy. We don't want to do the work. It's too much.
If you work with food,
I know.
We'll forget about, like, for instance, I mean, I am one of the few that on a little detour, but I'm one of the few that bans a certain restaurant. I won't say their name because they were offensive to the LGBT community. Okay,
I'll ban them too. Let me know.
And they have a cow as a mascot.
Now we know. Okay.
And I have not eaten there since then. Since this happened, I have not eaten there. But then I have fellow LGBT members who have, and to me, it's so, because it's like, if you want change, then you're going to have to stick to your guns. And so to answer that question, I think people would just move on and then just, you know, go back to normal and not even
till the next pandemic or something,
not implement the changes.
So and that's a great point, Melissa, but can I make another point about jobs that have been hit especially hard?
Let's get back
to what we were talking about. Yeah, sure.
So let's get back to the subject. Why did we do that?
Crazy. You're a rebel, Mark.
And just a question for you guys. Is there such thing as a cable guy anymore? I mean, cable guy.
He don't even have cable.
He's turned into the internet guy.
The Wi-Fi guy.
Yes.
That's a pivot.
So our kids need to be aware that you need to be able to do all this programming, smart home technology, you know, because everything is connected now. So, you know, you're not just going out running a wire, you know, from the curb to the side of the house anymore. You know, you're coming in, you're programming, you've got security cameras. You've got your internet. You can open door locks now.
That would be an easy pivot for them.
You can open door locks.
Go to that.
Yeah, smart home technology right now, booming. Cable guy
and security and all of that for sure. Because now with all the writing, everything, all that people, if you're living in an area where there's protesters and there's things, there'll always be upheavals. Do you need more security? There's so much more security that you're going to need now, just to be able to, you know, feel like you've got some kind of control over your front door.
One industry, one last one for me that is not doing well, or I'm wondering if it's doing well, is cosmetics and perfume. Because
I buy plenty. What do you mean? No.
Okay. I was going to say, because
I keep them going. This angel.
This show was the only time I got makeup on. Okay. So like I am clean. Like I realize when I get ready for this show, it's like, boy, I've saved money on makeup because I haven't worn it.
We don't wear it from here down. But I can tell you, they are still booming because we have, and I'll give them a plug, we have like the Ulta app and the Sephora app, and you can have curbside pickup. So, and of course you can buy whatever you want on Amazon, and the direct sellers, the Mary Kays, the Neriums, all of them all still boom because now more than ever we need it delivered. So, and we are still taking care of our skin, although we might not be wearing makeup and foundation and blush as much. We are still, for those who have always been taking care of the skin, still do. Like my daughter hasn't stopped her regime whatsoever. She could keep America in perfect health,
Well, yeah,
economy-wise, with her routine.
Yes, with washing and lotions and stuff. Yes, I get it. I was just thinking
lipstick, I think, might be suffering.
Yeah.
Not according to Instagram, because these IG models, they are made up like they were going somewhere.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So maybe not, but I will tell you, you know, to Mark's point about technology, like when I was in an office setting, I still I didn't know how to forward my phone calls or do conference people in. The phones themselves have gotten so complicated. So just to follow up with Mark about technology, like learning about internet and coding, and like you said, security systems are far more sophisticated. Just office supplies printers and phones. I mean, think about all the things that in an office environment that you are not quite sure how to work.
Right.
Still, you know, you've worked in an office environment for years.
Yep.
That's something that a IT person has to come and fix now.
Yep.
And they say plumbers and pipe fitters are still, it's on one of the top 30 best careers of 2020. So who with electricians, plumbers, pipe fitters, things like that, computer analysis, all support is all on the best top 30 list for 2020. So if that's like your thing, just kind of pivot a little bit to do what you need. But some of the things that are sold out, speaking of like cosmetics, when I go online, you know, I've already been set up for TV because I've been doing this for a long time, but like the Diva lights, anything to do with home studios now are selling out. I tried to get a new camera, try to get a new Logitech camera because I was a presenter for the Emmys this year, and I wanted to make sure my camera was like the crispest focus, and I haven't had a new one in like 3 years. So I thought there might be an upgrade. There usually is every 5 seconds.
3 years? Wow, that's an eternity.
I know. But this camera's Logitech's done me well. But they were telling me when I sent in the video when I presented, which will be tonight, but it won't be when you're watching this. They said it was a little bit grainy. So I said, well, let's upgrade. You can't. There's like a 6-month wait for a Logitech, the newest HD camera.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's trying to upgrade their home computer system to be, whether they're doing YouTubes or virtual or just their business. So the microphones, everything to do with this.
You know what else? I realized that chairs, comfortable chairs are on delay. So I decided I need a more comfortable chair for my home office.
One of the first things
I decided to get a gamer chair because I knew my son would enjoy
those
them.
are so nice.
And there's a delay in getting it. So
go to Facebook Marketplace for some of that stuff, because I've got the game chairs from Facebook Marketplace. They have people that have whole, like the whole industry, the what do you call it, the warehouse is full, and it was selling online for like $200, $300, $400, and I got one for like $129. Same thing in the bag. And I just go pick it up.
That's a show. Facebook Marketplace is a show in and of itself.
Do it.
I've never used Facebook Marketplace.
Oh, we'll do a how-to show.
It rocks. It rocks.
Mark, what's the best thing you've gotten?
We'll teach Melissa how to do this.
We can do it.
I got some rims from my son's truck. He needed some tires and wheels, and I got at a dirt cheap price. Yes, dirt cheap.
I just got a $3,000 type bar for my bar there for $100. And I got the end piece. Angel finds me the best thing. She's on there all the time. She goes, Mom, look at this. Mom, look at this. And I said, if you can find me a bar for $100, I'll get a bar. Thinking, right. Like a week later, and it is the cutest thing. I'll put a picture up. So as we're talking about this, I'll get the picture up.
Look, we'll do
$100 for two,
and you can you can post or show pictures of what you bought. I just want to comment on the Diva lights real quick because we have yet to acknowledge your Emmy. So I just want to say the Diva lights and the Emmy are very nice.
Shining brightly.
Notice how she changed her position on the shelf.
She got a bigger, because of you guys, she got a more prestigious spot on the show.
Hey, Emmy. Okay.
And a testament to your dreams coming true as well. And with that, we want to give people success tips. So let's talk about some good things now. What can people, as we kind of close up the show, let's talk about for your kids, for yourself, for whatever position you're in. What should we be looking to now, 2020 and beyond? What are some good things to pursue, to pivot? We're going to talk about everything from whether it's YouTube, TikTok, and that's your jam. And I was thinking, like, all those out of work Broadway stars, why wouldn't they pivot and start entertaining online and using it, which many are? I mean, that's a fortune over there. You're not on Broadway, but now you're on everybody's phone. More people even know about you. Or if you're more the nurse practitioner, like you said, Mark, an electrician, just have to pivot. So let's talk about some of the top things that are money makers right now, 2020 and beyond.
Now,
go ahead.
Can I say this, Melissa, real quick? And then you guys
you didn't say anything, Mark. I want to hear everything you have to say.
And this is a judgment-free zone, correct?
Absolutely.
No.
Oh, no? Okay.
What?
I may need Jesus.
We can judge. We can judge.
Right. I may need Jesus for having this information, but from what I'm told,
Made me snort. Okay, go ahead.
No extra charge, ladies and gentlemen, to hear Melissa snort.
I know, right?
But the stripper industry has pivoted, and you can cash app your favorite stripper and get that same quality entertainment right in the comfort of your own home.
So they
I want to know why you know this, Mark.
They Zoom. Apparently, they do it online.
Because that's safer. That's safer. I bet they like that better too. Right? If you're a stripper, wouldn't you like it better that you have that
can't
distance?
be touched?
Yeah, that you can't be touched and nobody's going to, break those rules.
Well,
I would think.
Well, I'm not going to say what I thought, but
explain this a little bit more, because Melissa reminds me of what you said about the bars in Europe that were virtual now, and you could virtually be in a room with celebrities. So let's talk about this for a second, because it doesn't matter what you do, your now career, your talents can go virtual. So Mark, tell us a little bit about that for a second, because it does matter. And let's talk about it, because it could be entertainers, it could be magicians, it could be strippers. Tell me what this is and how you found it.
So basically, I'm scrolling through social media.
You were, Mark.
Not quite sure what I was looking for, but I kept seeing.
Why did they show that to you? No.
But I was wondering, like, I asked myself, like, why are people posting their Cash App? Like, do random people send people money on Cash? It was like, well, if you're a stripper, they want you to send them money. I was like,
look at your son go.
Wait a minute. It's a different day and age. Yeah, it's a different day and age. So I asked my nephew.
Well, now think about it though. If you're stuck in your house and you need the entertainment and you need, to whatever. Yes.
You need
because there's a lot of lonely people
at home
who were not with anybody and in the house by themselves.
Sure, we'll leave it at that, Melissa.
Yes, sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
No, just the lonely ones, the only ones that are on there. No married people whatsoever. No.
I didn't say their marital status.
No, that's
but it's part of it's part of the pandemic pivot.
So what happens?
A lot of businesses. So you get the link, or you do the interview, or you get into their private, video.
It's kind of like a peep show, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, what's it be the same thing as a peep show? It would be the exact same thing as a peep show. Yeah.
Well, again, Success Talk, Smart Talk has taken another turn. So
no. This. So what I have to say will be a good segue to this. Okay. So whatever your expertise is, right, is something that you can put online. So you mentioned about plumbers.
And transfer.
TikTok. I never thought I'd ever be on that app, but it has helped me so much through this pandemic because there's so many great videos on there. But some of the ones that I follow are doctors who are giving advice. They are other artists who are giving advice. But if you're a plumber, whatever you do, if you have expertise in anything, you could post videos about how to. I mean, you could do that on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. And so there are ways for you to share your knowledge.
Seriously. Melissa, have you ever heard of Dr. Pimple Popper?
Yes, I can't watch that. Now look, I may have.
Me and Mark are laughing. It's another one of those Tiger King moments.
Yeah.
Look, I may find satisfaction pumping my own, but I can't watch other people. I can't. Right? But y'all do.
And
the
pimples are enormous. They're not pimples.
I know, they're like tumors. But it goes to show everybody can find their own viewers. So we really want to open this up that whatever you're thinking you're doing, and you might be thinking, well, nobody would watch that. There's a viewership for almost anything. If there's a viewership for Tiger King, pimple poppers, strippers, magicians, whatever. I believe so much in everyone watching that whatever your genius is, whatever your talent, whatever it is, give it a whirl. Because If you love it and you're talented at it, look at America's Got Talent, the talent that comes on that show. I mean, you think, well, that's a talent, or that so many of them will make an income on that, which we would think, really? I mean, whether it's sword swallowing or throwing, pulling tissues in your nose or out your ears, but there's entertainment value for people that want to watch whatever you do. So go for it, is what we're saying. Don't wait for us to like it. We may not be your viewers or your demographic. It doesn't matter. You can find your own tribe, like they always say. So I'm all for give it a whirl, get out there and do it.
On TikTok, I just watched a video last night, and it's a woman who filmed her grandmother, who is, I forgot her ethnic background, but of an Asian background, and she was in her grandmother's village. So she had been, I don't know what country she was in, but her grandmother shared a recipe. And so she cooked this appetizer recipe. Ooh. And she filmed it, and it was on TikTok. And I I shared it I emailed myself that because I want to make that dish. So if you cook, if you bake it, what you do is you get a YouTube account, you get a TikTok account, you can even get an Instagram account, and then you post these on there and just see what floats. Because again, you may get a following, and if you get a large enough following, you make money off of doing those videos. And there's a few people are doing that.
Yeah, and there's even YouTubes on how to. I'm sorry, Mark, go ahead.
A great example is I was watching a recipe video yesterday from Cindy's Kitchen, was her YouTube, and she was showing you how to make the, I've been having this craving for Sabret's onions that from the push carts on the sidewalks in New York City.
From New York City, you have my heart.
Yes,
yes. So the most unhealthy thing in the world.
There's something other than Vidalia. Is that what you're telling me?
Exactly.
You haven't had a hot dog, so you've had a Sabret. I'm just saying.
Right. Well, they have this onion sauce in the push carts up in New York City, and so Cindy's Kitchen was teaching you how to make your own, because I was on Amazon getting ready to order them, and it was like, $30.
You can order them?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right, viewers, what do you got that people
I used to go to New York and bring back like 6 jars.
We need raised pizza. Who can send me a raised pizza?
Oh, yeah.
Nothing like it. Nothing like it. All right, people, we're giving you ideas now. Whatever you cook, whatever you do, whether it might even be a diet tip or an exercise. Did you see the guy exercising? We need to show this video. I'll have to talk to Malcolm to put this up there. The guy in the kitchen puts the soap on the kitchen floor, hangs onto the sink, and makes his own treadmill because he's walking on wet, soapy water on his tile floor.
That's great.
I mean, and that probably got 1 million or more hits. I mean,
and speaking of exercise, though, that's really hot right now, online personal training. Malcolm just got his training certification, and he's working with a company that and the workouts are amazing. But I just saw a segment sponsored by Beachbody the other day. I think it might have been on 11 Alive, where they talked about like 80% of people who say they're going back to the gym are also going to have a component of home, virtual training.
You saw that on Atlanta and Company. I saw it too. Yes. Love Atlanta and Company.
Yes. Like our friends. We love them.
Absolutely great. And you might be wondering, you guys take a note, or viewers take a note. We're going to do a show on this because I think it'd be great. You all might be watching and not of the 20, 30, even young 40 age range thinking, well, okay, I get 1 million hits. So what? How does that make me money? We'll do a show on how you monetize this. Yep. So let's say you can cook, or you can, entertain, or magician, whatever. Like, okay, great. What happens when I get, 100 views or whatever? There's a way to monetize this. Besides, we're talking about like the #1 girl on TikTok, #1 person on TikTok is Charlie D'Amelio. My daughter showed me about her because she got so many views. Then she ends up being on the Tonight Show. Then she got to go to Paris Week for Prada. Then she got these sponsorships by brands like Sony and Chipotle and Revlon. So if you're really good at what you do, then the sponsorships can come in, and that's where you can make some good money. But you do make money on viewerships because certain platforms will pay you for views, like YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah, some will make it easy. Some will make it easier on you, right? Yeah, so we could do a step-by-step for people. But I do want to say one more thing. Please. If you're a photographer, if you're somebody that really thinks you take really great pictures, you can sell your photos. And so Adobe Stock will buy your photos. Shutterstock will buy them, and something called Alamy, we'll put the link in, ALAMY. and they will buy your photos. So if you're an amateur photographer, but you think you do a pretty good job, there are ways to make like instant money off of these photos.
I
too.
love
So
that. Yes, we'll put the links
Yeah.
in. Thank you, Melissa. That's a great one to take a hobby that you do, a profession, and say, here's some other ways you can make money now online.
Right.
Any other tips before we move on to our not so smart? Some of our best things, and let us know if you have any more tips to give some success tips to them. Some of the best jobs though for COVID is they were saying is nurses, of course, a veterinarian. Not everybody can do that. Teachers, for God's sake, if you ever want to be a teacher, please pursue that now.
Yeah.
And think about home tutoring, because I think that'll be forever a big thing to be home tutor. Nonprofit professionals. I was so excited to hear about this one on the list. You think about starting a nonprofit in this economy. Oh my gosh, why would you? Not so much do that, but if you are a grant writer, a specialist in funding and raising money, they need you now more than ever. So if you're up and coming thinking you love nonprofits, you love, finances, think about now how many nonprofits now, and there's millions of them that need your help now. Great positions out there. It's on the top 10 of jobs and careers needed most now in 2020. Anybody that can help nonprofits.
I think if you're somebody that's good with numbers, or your children are, or grandchildren, they should go into financial services, because I do think that the economic impact and the ripple effect of this, and then getting back out of it, is something that you're going to want people to lead you on. And like you said, if you think you're a good writer, that's fantastic. If you may write the next great American novel, but also, like you said, learn grant writing and technical writing, because there are ways in copy editing and copywriting, because those are great ways to make money as you're working on that great American novel.
We have to think forward from now on, for ourselves, for our parents, for our kids. Go ahead, Mark.
Looking down the road, I think we're going to see many more of those tutoring shops, but I think we're going to see them online, because in 2 to 3, 4 years, 5 years, our kids that are being impacted right now, and our youngest ones, K1, 2, 3, I think they are going to be struggling mightily because of this disruption in their educational process. And it frightens me, but I think, parents are going to be feverishly trying to get their kids caught up over the next few years. And that's one of the things that really worries me about.
I'm so glad you said that,
Mark. Right now.
And add to that, I just want to say that if you are someone who's going to go into the educational field, get certified in special needs kids, in ADHD, in autism, in dyslexia, because I think that now that we have better testing on all those, you'll see higher cases. I don't think that it's because those conditions are getting worse. I think they just weren't diagnosed. And I think that you'll find when you talk about home tutors, you're going to have a lot of people that need their children to have that extra instruction away from the classroom. So I don't think there's enough educators who are certified in those conditions. And I think you're going to see a lot more of those. So I think that that's a great avenue to go down.
And you go to any school district right now and you'll see openings for, special needs teachers.
More. We need to work on
any district.
Paid more. For sure. Mark, I'm so glad you said that too, and Melissa, because my younger daughter is a sophomore, and she's completely self-teaching geometry, American literature, American history, Spanish 1. And I had to come to the point, and moms, listen up, because there comes a point, dads too, where you think, we're trying to run our business. We're trying to be a sophomore teacher, trying to make sure she learns everything she needs to learn. And I had to kind of not give up, but give into this year's not going to be perfect. And Mark, you hit it on the nail. When she goes back to real school, let's say hopefully junior year, they're going to be behind. They're not going to have that in-school instruction. She's not going to have been visually taught everything, not done all the workshops and all the things she should have done. She's just trying to get the knowledge in to get the test done. And I just thought of that last night, Mark, that this is going to take a toll on the entire year. And I know what kept me going and not completely crying about it was I'm not alone. I'm not the only parent that we all, like you said, we can all be behind.
I've got the kindergartner. Same thing.
I got 2 grandbabies that I'm worried to death about.
So please listen up, viewers. If you were in the education business, know that after this is over, and I just heard on the news last night, tell me if I'm wrong, but Dr. Fauci, what's his name? Fauci? What's the doctor's name? Dr. Fauci?
Fauci?
You mean Fauci? You mean
Fauci?
Yes, Fauci. It's all right. Carducci, Fauci, you know.
Carducci,
Yeah,
Fauci.
fine.
Forget about it.
He'll answer to anything's fine. Whatever.
He was on the news last night, and this isn't funny, but he was saying that by the time we get a safe vaccine, by the time we get it all settled out, it's going to be end of 2021, beginning 2022, before we're even back to some kind of normalcy. By the time they get everybody that, you would think about all the people that aren't going to have the vaccine and just getting this all settled down. So I had to put in my mind yesterday, okay, let's just think worst scenario. Need to settle into how you're going to be successful, what you're going to do as a career, like we were talking about, and then what this year is going to look like for our students. And if they're behind, okay, let them get through it. But Mark, you said it, teachers, anybody that's in that education is start thinking about when these kids come out the other end, might not be a year or two from now, help them get caught up, help them get into college, or help the college ones get the careers that they're looking for. And there's no shame in saying, hey, I'm going to need a tutor. And if you can get one now, great.
Well, I think there should also be help for people who, you know, are scared that they can't afford a tutor because they don't have a job. But I also think, though, on the glass half full side of it, you know, the way I look at all this is that it's a chance for me to get time with my son that I would not have had before. Right. And the fact that I get to be his educator is something I find is a privilege. And I try to make school fun for him. So that, you know, that's the other thing is like through all this, one of the burdens of being a parent is that you are the one that gets to worry, but not your child. At least that's the ideal situation. You are supposed to stopgap that. It's supposed to stop with you. And so with my son, despite, you know, we do our best to try to allow him to be able to have friends and to see friends and however capacity that is. But the point is for him to have fun and to really want to learn these things. And so you can't forget that, yes, all these things are happening. Okay, 2022, fine. You got to figure out a way and you got to make it enjoyable along the way. I think this idea that we have a finish line, people are going to have to get out of their minds because we have just let that finish line go and try to enjoy your life as you're trying to figure these things out, because it will work out and we will get past this, but just don't regret the way you handled it in the future. Do what you got to do now to make sure that life, you make the most of it, because it is an opportunity that you will not have it, because you'll miss your kids when you go back to work. You'll miss your house. You'll miss your pets. So just embrace the time that you have at home right now.
So well said, Melissa, because I know everybody's looking forward to January, you know, New Year's Eve 2020, like all this is going to be over at midnight, December 31st. And it's not, but I think it's a great pause that we've all had. Like you said, we're smelling the roses. So
you're going to miss, believe it or not, there are parts of this that you are going to miss. So make sure that you don't, and just do the best you can.
Well, and take care of yourself.
That's right.
Very much so. Absolutely.
I'm not in traffic. Let me tell you what I love about it. I'm not in traffic. I'm getting 8 hours of sleep. Like I said, I get to see my son. I get to go to the bathroom when I want. I get to go to the private bathroom without having to do the courtesy flush. Come on, let's talk for real, okay? I'm loving it.
It's the little things.
Yes.
It is the little thing.
I get to wear my pajama pants here and all the time. I mean, come on now.
Another great industry. Pajamas.
Yes.
Get into the pajama
industry. They're so excited.
And the t-shirt industry, the tops. Everybody's buying tops and necklaces, you know.
That's right. That's right.
But you're so right, Melissa. So well said.
You know what? This is honest. I'm going to stand up.
There you go.
I'm going to show my volunteer tee. There
you go.
Yay!
That's right. I'm representing my vols.
I'm just in workout pants.
They look worn in and comfortable. You got to season them. You know, you got to wear.
That's right. It's like a shoe. It's like an old shoe.
Good shoe. Yeah.
That's right.
Oh my gosh. So you have to laugh. Gotta laugh more. And you know what? On the good side, us three wouldn't be together doing the show, having fun from our homes. Eventually we'll be in a studio together. I just know it. We'll make that happen. But this is so fun. We've been able to bond more than ever before. Before we were just separate friends, and now look at us. And so the future is bright. We want to keep giving people great hope, because we'll talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly on this show, but always leaving you with hope, laughter, the good side of this. Yeah, there's a really traumatic side, but let's think on the good side, because things do turn around for good if you allow them to, and if you accept the good part of it and become part of the solution. Wearing your mask is part of it, learning to laugh, learning to embrace your family in all its craziness, embrace your puppies and your kitties and everything at home, and saying this is time, even if it's chaotic. And let's just say you have your house and everybody's yelling at everybody and everything's going crazy. Sit back and pause, say, wow, I have the privilege to be alive right now and watching this wonderful fight go on. You know, look at those fishes flying.
I just want people to stay consistent, because I know there's times you backed out of your driveway thinking, oh, I wish I didn't have to go into the office today. I bet there were times you were in your office thinking, boy, I miss my husband, I miss my kids, I miss my pets, whatever. Well, guess what? You got what you wanted. You got it. So what are you gonna do now?
Let's pivot and help everybody make a lot of money at home, because you can. Absolutely can. If these kids and everybody can make it on TikTok and YouTube or the
Don't forget about
DoorDashes, all the ways to make money.
Speaking of masks, I get my masks from a woman here in Atlanta that makes them off Etsy. So Etsy is another way.
Oh, give us her link. Put her link down.
I will put her link in.
We talked about masks. Let's support her, because I need more.
And very fast shipping, and she gets it to you and just like that. So
what's her name?
I'm glad you asked me, because her name is not in front of me, so I apologize, but her link will be below. Because I'm terrible. Because Aaliyah, I'm terrible with names. Right, Matt?
Right.
Thanks a lot. Okay.
Funny.
So you ended with such a great statement. I loved it. It was so well said. Mark, do you have any last minute success thoughts just to give out to the viewers today before we get to our not so smart, gotta laugh segment, because you all outdid yourself this week?
Real quick, looking at the COVID, from 30,000 feet above, we found out something that I've known, I became cognizant of when I moved to Atlanta in 2002, was the shortage of African-American doctors. Apparently only about 5% of practicing physicians right now are African-Americans.
I did not know that.
And African-American patients have substantially better results when treated by African-American doctors. Problem is, they're so hard to find. So who's doing something about it? The Bloomberg Foundation donated just this past week $100 million to some historically Black college and university medical schools to help recruit, retain, and promote African-American talent in the medical field. And it is the largest donation that these schools have ever received. So Morehouse here in Atlanta got some of that money, got one of those grants, and so did my alma mater, Howard University. So it's something to be cognizant of, because Black folk have been hit so hard by COVID, and the inability to access healthcare is what I think made this even worse than what it was, because so many people didn't have access to quality healthcare.
Yes, because Black patients were not being treated the same by certain doctors, and there's then the trust gets broken down, because it's a kidney transplant recipient. The majority of people affected by kidney disease is the African-American community.
Yep.
And that has to do with exactly what he was saying. So yes, I think that was a wonderful thing that happened. And Morehouse School of Medicine, I've worked with them before, so
they're awesome.
And I'm so glad that they got that.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, Mark. Thank you so much. And Mark, would you put a link in? Make sure I get the link to put it in for if people want to donate to this cause and to the foundations that are helping give scholarships to needy students to get into the college and to support.
I mean, remember what it costs to go to medical school? That's like buying a really nice house. $250, $300.
Oh, at least.
I mean, $300,000.
My son-in-law is a chiropractor, and it was it's at least $350, and you end up paying it off the rest of your life almost. It's crazy. Right. But it's needed. So yes, whatever we can do to support them, do scholarships, because I know viewers will want to help. So let's allow them to help.
Pop
and
the link in.
There's a lot of people who are going to go into medicine after this.
Yes.
Young kids who see this and they're going to go
workers.
to the medical field. Absolutely.
Nurses, rehabilitation, so many things. So everybody that's watching, yes, make a list of things and services that you needed, that need help, and say, oh, that's something I could go into, or my grandchild can go into, or my son or daughter or whatever. Just be thinking now differently. What's soaring? What's needed? What do you need? Some of the best ideas have happened out of necessity, and that could be your next great invention or your next great, pivot to solving the problem, because there's lots of problems now, a lot of lack and a lot of things that need to change. Don't just wait for somebody to do it. That's my advice for today. You could be the one that makes that change, that makes that resource, that sends somebody to college. We may not be able to go. I always said this. We may not be able to physically go and be the missionary in another country, but you could send one. So maybe you can help send somebody to college, or help a business startup. How about you being the investor? If you're watching and you're saying, I'm not so sure about stocks and bonds or whatever, but I could invest in somebody I know that's an up and comer, that I know it's in my community, that wants to start an online business or become something we just listed on this list. And we'll list this list too in the comments and description too. of the 10 best jobs and the 10 hardest hit jobs. So you can support those as well that are hardest hit. Like I said, I'm going to we're talking about bed and breakfasts before. Those are probably going to be the better ones because I don't mind going to a cabin, which we're going to do in Thanksgiving, because it's something I can control. I can get in there and clean myself and kind of spruce up versus a big hotel lobby where everybody's coming and going. I can't control that. So I think maybe those cabins and bed and breakfasts will bounce back if they do things properly, unlike some grocery stores we know of, and make things really hygienic and hire the right cleaning services that know how to clean up from a pandemic before each person comes in. So,
Right.
Which is another great career. What about that? The cleaning industry.
Cleaning industry.
Yeah,
That's
the ones
right.
that go in more of a hazmat type.
Yes, absolutely.
For offices, for restaurants, for
Oh, and you talk, look, if you clean homes, just hang in there, because as soon as people get out of their homes, they're not going to want to come back in, and they're not going to have to clean it themselves after all this. And I'm one of them.
I'm
telling you.
Me too.
You know the feeling.
That is not my strength, and that is not. I find no joy in it, but I do it.
All right. Well, on that note, we've given you some hope, some food to chew on, and we hope you've enjoyed it. But now we got to get to the drum roll of our not so smart section that everybody waits for. And today, I think I'll start. Why not?
Okay.
And I just thought this was funny. I found, it's kind of scary. I find so many not so smart moments when I look them up, and it's like mind boggling. Where do you start? So I thought we might do a best of show where we just do a show on the not so smart things of 2020. So towards the end of the year, we'll do that. It'll be a fun one because I just didn't know where to stop, but I found this one. I thought this was cute and funny at the same time. I'm going to put it up here now. This wonderful, well-meaning gentleman wanted to let all of his friends and everybody know that he asked his girlfriend to marry him, and he made all these cute little gift packs of popcorn to give out at the party to say he popped the question. But when he got very creative to put the ring inside the pop the question, he forgot to take out the O, and so everybody got these cute little gift bags saying he pooped the question.
No way.
My 5-year-old son would love one of those because that's his favorite. So I'm like, what's the big deal? I hear it all the time. No. Oh, the bride should have taken a look at that. Should have edited that.
Yes.
So the not so smart is not having a proofreader. I mean, somebody needs to look at that. But they were probably looking, look how cute that ring looks in the middle of the word popped.
It's all execution. The intention was pure. The execution was awful.
It's a cute one. It did no harm, no foul. I'm sure I hope she married him anyway. So I guess
but
he's not a
it
proofreader.
still stinks. It still stinks.
All right, Mark, on that note, you do yours.
Yeah. So this brings us to Douglas County, Georgia, right here in our own backyard.
Got a lot of not so smart people here.
Yes. And so this one, look, it's a tough job, sheriff's deputy. I get it. Look, but one of the things you got to remember to do when you go out here on patrol or you get a wild animal call, you got to keep the door to the squad car closed.
You think?
All right. So this deputy let a goat get inside the vehicle. There was no pursuit. But the goat got inside, chewed up the paperwork, and add insult to injury.
Or the whole industry, yes.
Or the whole industry. Yes. The police officer gets close enough to the goat and gets headbutted by the goat.
Not so smart.
Not so smart.
I bet that felt bad.
Oh my gosh. But a bum.
I know, right? That's terrible. That's terrible.
Okay. They got a tough job. Back on the beach.
Mark, you would think you'd leave the door. I'm from New York. I shut doors, lock doors constantly just to have it. You
All
think
the
you close
time.
it so somebody wouldn't drive off with the car, but never expected for the goat to get in there. And boy, I bet he's the one one of those that told his teacher back in the day, my dog ate my homework.
Oh, right.
Well, let's put a new twist on that.
And the deputy's laughing. The deputy's laughing the entire time. The deputy's like, I can't believe this is happening.
One of those things.
Well, going
Make it up.
going back to Rhea's story, that's what I hope that the goat didn't do in the squad car too.
He got pooped on. Yeah, probably happened.
The poop patrol.
Yeah, nasty.
That's great, Mark. I love it. Gotta laugh more. I love this segment so much because we need good belly laughs after all of this. So, Melissa, to you.
All right. So I appreciate art. I appreciate Aurea's story. And I am the daughter of an art teacher. So I really love when people try, even if they're not good at art. I appreciate the attempt. But this takes us to Millersburg, Kentucky, where a police officer on patrol was driving around and saw a car that had an odd looking license plate. So they got closer, decided to pull the guys over. And as you can see, somebody decided to use their artistic talent to try to make a Kentucky license plate by himself.
This is for real?
This is a real story. And so, of course, when the cops, I mean, there was no plate to run because this is a fake plate, but also they found, surprisingly, that the license has been suspended and there's no insurance on the car.
Oh, my God.
Go figure.
Should have seen the general.
I know.
Do they teach this in art school? How to make your license plate?
I mean,
that's
maybe
not even close.
Yeah.
That's crayons. That's crayons.
You gotta do it. Be a little bit more realistic.
Didn't they used to make license plates in prison? I don't know. Stereotype.
Well, that was always, you know, the rumor.
So maybe that's his fate. Well, he eventually will have to actually make a real license plate before it's over.
And what happened to him? Is there a fine for that? I mean, that's like plagiarism or something.
Well, no license. No, I mean, I don't know what happened to the guy. I just know
license, no insurance.
No insurance.
But
no
to
plate.
falsify a license plate,
he probably spent some time, you know, at the police station.
We're at school, education or something?
Speaking
Speaking of tutors.
Glass half full, very innovative, right?
Sure.
Got to give him the E for effort.
But now not so smart. Not
innovation,
so
A for innovation, creativity. We'll give them that. All right, on that note, we hope everyone is innovative and creative and think outside the box. This 2020 could be the best thing that ever happened to all of us in some way, shape, or form if we let it be. So prayers to everyone who is experiencing tough times. Hey, she got a thumbs up.
I got it. I'm sorry, Reg. Keep talking.
You're good. You're good.
I'm learning.
And from all of us, from Melissa, Mark, and I, we are so glad you're watching. Melissa's having a good time with technology right now. She's learned a new skill. She knows how to do a thumbs up.
I'll do a YouTube video on how you can do this if you don't know how to do this.
And if you can't tell what she's doing, in the very top corner, she's giving little thumbs up and little applauses, which you can do on your Zoom. Thank you, Melissa.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mark.
We love you all. Everyone say goodbye. Until next time, this is Success Talk, Smart Talk signing off. We love you all. Mwah. Wave goodbye, everyone, as we always do.